back here at EOU Fall Media Day, and we have women's soccer now on the panel. Coach Simonetti, good thing I got that right, Carolyn Danek, and Marna Gonzalez representing EOU women's soccer. We'll go ahead and start with Coach Simonetti. Would you like to open with your outlook for the season?
We're very excited about this season. I think it's going to be positive from start to finish. We only have a small roster of about 19 players, but it's very competitive from top to bottom. So we feel like anyone that we put on the pitch at this time would do a positive thing for us, make a positive impact on the game. As we get into shape, then we actually look to play a little bit better. So I think we're going to be competitive this year. Should definitely come away with some wins and be competitive in games that might not have been so in the past.
Coach, brand new to the area, drastically brand new to the area from the East Coast. Talk a little bit about your move here and what you're enjoying about the area.
The move here was a long drive, but other than that, we absolutely love it. Definitely came to the area to settle down and put some time into a program, and that's the opportunity we've been given. Love the outdoors, so it's a great change of pace from living in the middle of a city to living in the mountains by the lakes with all the space and fresh air. I like mountain biking and running and hiking, so it's been a great change for the personal life. In terms of the soccer atmosphere, it's been fun to learn a new region of the country. The East Coast is definitely different, I'd say, in some of the traditions that they have and the style of play, but we're really getting involved with the new atmosphere overall. It's been a great change.
Now, Coach, just discuss your background with soccer and what you bring to the EOU program.
I've been playing since I was 4. I went through high school, through club, played Division I soccer, and was an All-American as a senior. I played a bit semi-professionally afterwards, and then decided to get into the real coaching world. I've been coaching since I was 16, and I started with 4- and 5-year-olds at camp and worked my way up to upper age club teams, worked with a few high school programs, both men and women, and my first college job was to work both with men and women as an assistant. So I've been coaching college for about 4 years now, but I have about 13 years of experience from a very young age to now the upper level, which has definitely been the good change.
Soccer's been on the rise, probably the fastest growing sport in Northeast Oregon right now. How do you tap into that excitement?
I think I bring excitement to it. I'm definitely very passionate about it. That's why I've made it my life goal to be a coach. And then it's learning the area more so than anything. I think there's a different type of excitement, but I don't think it's that different from the East Coast. It's just learning a new region, and that's about it.
Did you have much of a chance to recruit prior to this season at all?
We had a short stint, and in that short stint, we were actually able to find some very talented players who had been missed in the shuffle, which, again, to us is a great thing. We brought in 8 newcomers, I would say, not all freshmen, but 8 newcomers, and all of which are going to be competitive for our program this year, so we're really looking forward to that.
Marna, a 1-1 finish on Saturday at Columbia Basin. Are you happy with that result?
Yeah, I'm actually really happy with it. With, like Jen said, with 8 newcomers and a whole new group of girls, you never know what's going to happen on the first game, first time you step onto the pitch after 2 weeks of practice. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. We found some things we need to work on and a couple mistakes that we can fix easily. And so, yeah.
And Carolyn, the defense only giving up 1 goal to CBC. Talk a little bit about the defensive effort.
I think we're going to mesh really well together this year. We've got some freshmen coming on, we've got transfers, newcomers, and I think we're meshing really well together. The goal we gave up was an error on our part. They never earned it, so that's always a good way to look at it. It's easily fixable.
And Paula from Pennsylvania says, Coach, what was the biggest challenge leaving the East Coast for your new gig?
I don't think there was a challenge. I think we were extremely excited about the new opportunity and just looking forward with it. So we came here with an open mind to the type of athlete we would be involved in, the new conference, the new region of soccer, and really just looked at everything as a positive. It's been nice to settle into such an open and warm community within LeGrand as well as within Eastern Oregon. So it's been an easy change, and I have to say I don't know if I'll ever go back to the East Coast.
We win.
With players, what's it been like playing differently playing for her than Keith?
It's actually it's a big change. They both have a way different coaching styles, but it's a positive change. I mean, I think we all really enjoy playing with Jen so far. Anyway, it's awesome.
She holds us to a higher level. We're expected to play at a higher level, and I think we kind of got caught in moments last year where we weren't doing our best and doing our hardest, and she makes us, like, she forces us to do our best and push each other at practice and training.
Bob from Elko, Nevada. Marna, after a shaky season last year, what are the team's goals for this season?
I really think everybody's goal and mine is just playoffs. With last year, the games that we lost weren't games we should have lost. And with the level of talent that we have with our team this year, I don't think it's an unattainable goal at all to make playoffs.
And Craig from Northern California. Coach, EOU has struggled in the difficult Cascade Conference. What are your plans to right the ship?
Honestly, I think it's just bringing out the potential in the student athletes and building a family within the program. My assistant and I were extremely surprised when we got here to work with the women and see that level of talent, knowing the history and the record that they'd had in the past. And once we got here, we realized these women are extremely talented. And there was something wrong that didn't get them to click, didn't get them to play to their potential. So it's really just tapping into their potential. And the second thing I think would be confidence. When you come off of a couple losing seasons, it's really hard to believe in yourself that you can get that win or you can reach that milestone. And I think from the spring to now, we've definitely instilled a lot of confidence in them and helped them believe in themselves. And I think the more we grow as a program and the closer we get as a program, the more successful they'll be.
Denise from Klamath Falls. Carolyn, which team is the toughest to play in the conference, and what makes that team so tough?
Definitely Concordia. Year after year, they're top of the conference. Never really lose. They had one slip up last year, but they constantly make it to nationals. They, I think, finished second last year at nationals, so they're the hardest team. But I think all teams in our conference are very strong, and they're not necessarily the teams that we should worry about. It's the teams that we know we can beat, and we have mental errors that causes us to lose. Those are the ones we need to worry about.
Coach, Concordia was picked to finish first in the conference again this season. What would it mean to pull off a win over such a powerhouse in your first season?
I think it would be a great step, again, back to the confidence issue, but I don't think that's necessarily our goal. Our goal is to be competitive, and our goal is to play the way our team wants to play. So we want to make conference, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to beat a Concordia. It would be a great accomplishment, and I think it's something we could definitely attain even this season, being new together and young, but again, not something that we necessarily have to do to reach all the goals we want this season.
Coach, just discuss what some of your strengths and weaknesses are going to be for the upcoming season.
As a team, you mean?
Yeah.
I think a strength is that we're talented from top to bottom. So not only is it competitive for starting spots every week and playing time, but it's competitive in practice. You know, anyone that plays against anyone is challenging them. Some other strengths are I think that we've bonded very, very well in the 2 short weeks we've been together. With only 11 returning players and 8 newcomers, you know, that's always an issue with a women's program, and they've bonded and they all seem to be getting along and enjoying their time together. And there are little things that happen on a field because of that you might not necessarily see, but we know. So I think that'll make us successful. The third thing is responsibility. They're definitely getting into shape now, and I think they're taking it upon themselves to know how important that is from here on out, that they're okay with the extra fitness we're doing at the beginning of sessions and the end of sessions because they know it's going to help in the long run. And from that, we're a talented team. We are very technically talented. We're smart soccer players, and when you put all of that together, it makes a beautiful game of soccer.
Besides Concordia, who else in the league is going to be a big threat this year?
Everyone. You know, that's, I guess, naivety on my part, but I don't know the conference. I've never seen the teams play. I haven't been around long enough. So really, we're just going to approach every single game as though it's a game we need to win. And a game we need to challenge for that point or those 3 points to get us into the conference tournament. I don't like looking at titles and names and players. I like looking at games. And we'll play to our strengths, and we'll adjust for our weaknesses, and we'll do the best that we can.
Floyd from Eugene, Coach, what kind of formation do you like to use on the field?
It changes based on the talent. So year to year it could be different, and not to give away secrets this year, but we're going to play to our strengths with our formation this year. Something that's easy to attack in numbers and hard to break down defensively.
And for Carolyn and Marna, what kind of things have you guys done as a team over the past 2 weeks, kind of bonding things?
Our training sessions are honestly bonding enough. Having to push each other through the fitness and make each other work, and the times when you're like, I can't run anymore, having that teammate there to push you and say, yes, you can, really strengthened our team.
This coach give you guys any time to have fun off the field?
Oh yeah, even if it's in between drills, we're always. But even we have pool workouts that we go do, and those are a lot of fun. So we bond during those too. But yeah.
How about what have you two enjoyed about playing here at Eastern Oregon?
I would say that just the level of competitiveness that this conference has. I've never even, in high school I never played against a team even close to this kind of competitiveness. So I would say that it's a lot of fun.
I'd agree with that. Just the level that we have to play at and becoming better soccer players, really, it's been awesome.
And I think with a new coaching change, I think has actually made us better players because we have to adapt to new coaching styles. So.
Coach, what were your initial thoughts when you walked out onto the field? It's a pretty scenic field, and I mean, do you use that as a recruiting selling point, and do you own a big parka for during the season?
Luckily with our Adidas kickback, I got one, so we're set for the winter. It's obviously a great recruiting tool, not only the view and the mountains in the background and that, but it's the facilities themselves. There are a lot of teams that have to use park fields, rec fields, rent fields, or even share it with a men's team. And what you see out there, a full-size game field, a full-size practice field, is all ours. So anytime we want access to it, we have access to it. That's a great recruiting tool.
For players playing for a new coach, do you feel like you have something to prove?
Not necessarily something to prove, but we don't want to disappoint her. And her and Mark both have instilled a lot of confidence in us. And we know we can go out there, and we know we can be above 500 this season. We know we can make it to postseason. And now it's just whether we do it or not, whether we go out in the field and keep our focus for those 90 minutes, 120 minutes, however long the game lasts.
Marna and Carolyn, does Coach ever hop on the field and play with you guys? Does she still got it out there?
Yeah.
She calls herself an old lady. No.
You can't tell on the
No.
field.
Everyone's like, oh crap, Coach is on the field.
Yeah, she could probably step onto the national team and do some work. She could. She's good.
Coach, you were able to recruit a player here from Pennsylvania. Is that kind of a pipeline you'd like to have here in the future?
Definitely. Like I said, we still need to get used to the West Coast, and I think there's a ton of talent out here, but there's no reason why we can't bring that old style of player, that different style of play and talent into the West Coast. We were back there this summer and found that there are a lot of women that want to come this way for college, so there's no reason. It's an easy recruiting tool, and it's a way to get talent that the schools in this region won't see. So we won't have to be as competitive with them because they're not looking in that area.
And did she come to you pretty quick and say a little bit of homesickness? It's a little bit different than Pittsburgh here.
I think she's adapted well. This was the type of school she was looking for to begin with and hadn't found it in the East, so she was pretty happy. She definitely has some homesickness, but I guess her mom texts her every day, so she's adapting that way. And our other freshmen and our upperclassmen have been extremely welcoming. We've had plenty of parents say, hey, if you ever need to come home for a home-cooked meal or for a holiday, feel free. And Mark and I have opened our doors as well. So I think she's adjusting really well for the 2,000-mile change.
We're teaching her some new things, too. She's never heard of Otter Pops. Come on. So, helping her out.
A question for all three of you. 5 home games this year on the schedule. What would it mean to get not only community but the students out there to your games?
It would be awesome.
It would mean it would mean a lot. It's like the volleyball player said, it's a different atmosphere when you have more people coming to support and people rooting for you. So
Adds fuel to our fire.
hmm
I'd say that's one of our goals as a program, is to get more support even on the road, but specifically at home. You know, we've done some things with the youth community around here where our players have gone to pizza night and spent time with the kids so that they have little role models to look up to, and I think that's going to bring a lot of youth kids and their parents out to our games this year. I think it's always a stigma that the better teams get the bigger crowds, so the more successful we are, I'm sure the more people will want to come out and cheer us on. But as we're growing to that point, all of the support we can get is obviously appreciated.
Coach, a question just came in. With 3 soccer coaches in the past 3 years, what would you like to do to make you stay here for a long time? I mean, are you excited about staying here for a long time?
Bought a house my first week out visiting, so I'm hoping to stay here for a long time. Really like to actually settle down and start my own family in this area, so as long as they'll keep me, I'll stay. Some things to stand out differently would just be to have success, meaning not necessarily the wins and losses, but bringing in women who buy into the philosophy that we're trying to build within the program. You know, we want it to be competitive. We don't want it to be a rec sport. We want it to be a team that's challenging every year for the conference playoffs and eventually for nationals every year. And just bringing in student athletes that want the lifestyle that LeGrand and EOU offer, as well as the attitude that we're looking for in a student athlete.
Any more questions for women's soccer? All right, thank you, ladies, for coming, and thanks for taking the time out today.
Thank you.
We're going to have another 10-minute, 15-minute break, and then we'll have EOU football coming up next with Tim Camp, Kedrick Starr, and Howard McDonald.